by Geico. What a luxury when one pick nets two talents. The Jacksonville Jaguars now tasked with striking the right balance for the two-way star and Travis Hunter. The wonderkin GM, James Gladstone, taken to the phones on his first draft day in their big chair and swapping spots with Cleveland at a steep price, but ultimately landing Hunter in Duval. Back in studio with the guys to split this thing down the middle. We're going to go AFC first, get into the NFC, talking some winners and losers here. And hear me out. I love a playmaker. I know game starts inside out, but we're going to start outside in and talk playmakers here in the AFC. Your biggest AFC winner playmaker is who?
Ashton Genty. He's incredible. We've talked about him just the last segment in terms of what he's capable of doing. And you might say, and I heard someone on this set say it, named Joe Musso, well, he didn't play in a Power 4 program. He ran all over Oregon like he owned Oregon.
I believe I said he broke tackles in the Mountain West. I just want to be quoted properly.
Fair enough. I've been known to embellish. This case was no different.
He's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. We're looking to pull at the small strings that all of these prospects offer, and that was the one to pull.
And exactly. And as our buddy Rick Spielman used to say, you hate the kids until you draft them, and then you love them.
Then you love them.
So there's every reason to love Ashton Genty. Special at Boise State. He's going to be special at the next level with Brock Bowers and, of course, Geno Smith, the new quarterback.
Rand, give me a playmaker here on the AFC side.
For me, I'll go with the late pick in pick 22 and go with Marion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. And you just see that fit. That feels like a Jim Harbaugh fit. A guy that's going to get downhill. He's going to attack those creases. And can we talk about how big and massive and strong that new Chargers offensive line is going to be? And you have the threat of Justin Herbert pulling the ball away on RPOs. And think about it, he's going to step into a J.K. Dobbins role, as J.K. Dobbins ran for 905 yards last year in 13 games. So you're going to get that same similar style runner, and I think he'll be just as productive.
It was Altz, the premium pick last year. This year it's Hampton, thinking about the big hog mollies up front, the running game. It's so in the image of Coach Harbaugh and what he's trying to do. Year one, he takes them back to the playoffs. Year two, we'll see what sort of step forward they can take with those guys leading the way. Let's talk about offensive line here on the AFC side, because this was an offensive line class that, you know, presented opportunity early, mid-round, late. We turn our attention to you, your biggest winner.
Armand Membu Wilson.
Yes.
As Rand likes to call him my son, because I've been on the Armand Membu bandwagon for quite a while and been fighting off all the haters. And look, he goes to the Jets, and not necessarily a surprising pick. I was leaning maybe towards Tyler Warner at this point, but I think he makes a ton of sense because you get your right tackle. He's 6'3" at the combine. He grew to 6'4" at his pro day, so that's great news. He has 34-inch arms, so if you care about arm length, that's perfect. And he is only 20 years old. He is only going to get better. So I love the idea of him at right tackle, next to Elijah Vera-Tucker, their former first-round pick. Yeah. Next to Olaf Ashton at the left tackle position, last year's first-round pick. Joe Tippmann, their second-round pick at center. They are building an offensive line. They are helping out Justin Fields for now. We'll see what that looks like. He's on a 2-year deal, and we'll go from there.
You just send him Rand and I's best at Thanksgiving. That's all that we're asking, is that when the family gets back together, that you say hello for us.
Keep the receipts.
Your favorite offensive line selection, AFC side.
Before we go there, we thought Ryan was in the picture when they showed him in the draft. We were waiting for Ryan to pop out.
He was waiting for the hug in the background.
Left me hanging.
But for me, I went Will Campbell.
Okay.
You know, tackle out of LSU to New England. It's just the right fit. We're talking about a solid, consistent player, and everyone wants to talk about the arm length or lack thereof, however you want to scale it. This young man is going to step in. He'll be a day one starter, and he'll be New England starter at left tackle for the next 10 years, hopefully. Yeah. But he has to, in my mind, having Mike Vrabel there, remind Vrabel of his former teammate in Matt Light. Similar build, similar arm length, has to remind him of that, and that's what probably made him comfortable with the pick.
Man, to put somebody in that sort of echelon, or to ask that of him, that's exactly what they need out of this pick. You're hoping that you're getting Drake Mays, the godfather to his future children. That's the type of thing you're trying to do here. Is, like you said, a decade worth of production, and it could start here on this day for Campbell. Getting to the defensive side of the ball, I'm still taken aback a bit by the fact that you got so many interior defensive linemen selected. We saw a couple edges, yes, a couple off-ball linebackers as well, but your favorite defensive line selection going to an AFC team, Rand?
Got to go with my guy Malachi Starks, and I'm riding this train. Malachi Starks, to me, is what Membu is to Ryan. I love this guy, and I think he is an absolute perfect fit into the Baltimore defense. This just screams a Baltimore defense, a defensive pick and style of player. And you put him in a secondary with Kyle Hamilton. And now you can do some creative things. You can play a rock and roll safety. And what I mean by that is now you just have two safeties. And wherever the strength of the offense is, you just roll one down versus the other. And you don't have to make one just the strong, one is the free. And both of these guys have the ability to play nickel. Right, so Kyle Hamilton can be your big nickel in run situations, and then Malachi can be your nickel in some of your other sub versus 11 personnel teams. So I love the fit here, and I think he's going to step in another guy to be a day one starter.
So much of Baltimore's success defensively last year came when Hamilton found that niche once again, found that way to play the game like he only does. Now you have two willing tacklers back there in your final level of defense. I know that I presented it as up front, defensive line, but any defensive player, AFC, as we had here, that you're in love with the pick.
I'm going to say in the secondary as well. I'm going to go with Jayden Barron out of Texas. Plays in the slot, can play outside, can play free safety, can play close to the line of scrimmage. Ran the 4.39 at the combine, and he played that fast. He reminded me a lot of Brian Branch, coming out of Detroit a few years ago, but Brian ran in the 4.5s, and that's why he fell to the second round. So he's going to Denver. Now you have Patrick Surtain, you have Riley Moss, you have Jaquan McMillan playing in the slot, and there's going to be an opportunity for certainly Jayden to get on the field in that secondary. I thought that maybe running back might be a landing spot here for the Denver Broncos. It's wild to say that this team, after drafting Bo Nix last year and getting Sean Payton and all the things George Payton has done as GM, this team has very few needs. So this isn't a luxury pick, but this is a guy that's going to have an opportunity to play right away, even though it wasn't necessarily the top of the needs board when you looked at Denver heading into this draft.
Wide receiver duos, so 2024. We're talking secondary duos in 2025 with some premium picks going to places that already have talents in those types of rooms. We're going to bring this to summation on the AFC side, a winner and a loser. Looking at an AFC team that's walking away from this thing feeling like they hit the nail on the head, Ryan.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. They didn't mess that up. They took Cam Ward. He's the best quarterback in this draft, and by what ended up being 20-something picks, and I think most people would agree that was the range in which he was probably better than the next quarterback. And I think, and you know Cam well, this young man, in addition to all the physical tools, has an edge. And there's something to be said for the neck-up approach to playing the quarterback position in the NFL, because all the guys can make the throws. All the guys are 4'6", 4'7" guys. It's the matter of getting punched in the mouth and being able to get back up and make plays. And Cam has proven that at every level, and every year he has gotten better as a quarterback.
Your biggest winner?
For me, I got to go with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, to make that trade and you still get the 5th overall pick, right, and you get a player that you probably coveted and had pretty high on your board, but then you walk away with still 4 picks in the top 100 left. And that has to be a win. That has to be a win. Now you're sitting there in the second round, you have pick 33 and pick 36. That's an absolute win to me for Andrew Berry. Now, you still have to pick the right players, but you have the right picks to really fill out your roster.
How quickly can you exact change is only fueled by the draft picks that you have. You now have more, and you can change a little faster there in Cleveland. For every winner, there is, in fact, a loser, and our loser